you hear me? Susie, can you hear me? All right. Um, the story I'm about to read is titled "How Do You Sleep at Night?" and it's about a future where the ozone layer has been depleted so much that it's too hot within the day for humanity to work. So now everyone sleeps during the day and works at night. And the main form of entertainment is going to theaters to watch people's dreams. And these dreamers are called auteurs. And we're about to hear the story about a, a particular auteur called Timmy. Um, the narrator's voice is quite strong, so I'll try my best to embody that and let's see if we can have some fun. Have you ever watched a dream live? I swear to you, there's nothing like it. Back then, the 5,000 seater at Grand National could not handle the crowds. They would be lined up all the way to the shores of the canal, lines so long it felt like the whole of Lagos was trying to squeeze into a single room. You have to remember the time. It was before the remediation efforts started to make progress, reversing the damage from a lifetime of AI data centers eating the ozone just to pump out brain rot slop. Back then, by around 7 a.m., the sun was already baking the pavement. It was too hot to do anything. We were on the old strict 6 to 6 curfew. I say strict, but it's not like the police were out there patrolling. Nah, the sun did the enforcement itself. You only went out during the day if you wanted to turn into a kebab on the sidewalk. What's the curfew now? 10 to 5. I hear you kids are staying out until almost noon these days if you're wearing the right blockers. Must be nice. Back then, there was nothing to do all day but crank the AC until the units rattled, pop a couple of relaxants, and try to sleep through the heat. Eventually, the world learned to work at night, but that AI slop had lost its grasp on us. People were starving for something honest, that intimate connection with the creative that we used to have back when people actually read books or watched a man sweat on stage. That's when the Dream Loom tech arrived. Finally, there are no more limitations to the medium to consider. Nothing was lost in translating onto the page or screen. It was the raw, unfiltered content of a mind projected in the highest definition for us all to witness. What's more intimate than sharing the content of your mind with an audience? It should be chaotic, messy, in your face, visceral, yes. These days, it's also artificial, manufactured, created, that's the word. Who are the real auteurs now, anyway? Where are the household names, the superstars? Back in my day, we had Timmy Leke. His real name was Timile Infakokunde, but superstars need superstar names, so Timileke it was. He was a real auteur, a live dreamer. There was nothing more real than a live dream from an auteur like Timmy. If you had even a couple of hours of the night where you weren't working, you spent them in a theater watching a dream. You would elbow children and the elderly out of your way if you had to. And I don't mean to get ahead of myself and the story, but if that was how desperate people were just trying to get in to watch a dream, was it not right the dreamer should feel just as desperate? Not that I'm defending Timmy's actions, I'm just saying they don't make them like that anymore. Stars that really want it. Isn't that why they should have it all, the money, the fame? Because they want it more than anyone else. That's all I'm saying. You know, I worked with him, I did. I handled his food, his wardrobe, his off-market prescriptions, and arranging meetings with the most dedicated of his female fans on the nights he felt up to it. And I fed him right too. Not that he ate much. I remember some eggheads over at the teaching hospital in Nakoka came up with some study saying the food you eat could affect your dreams or something like that. So everyone started freaking out about what the auteurs were eating. And I remember the interviewer asked Timmy about his diet and he said he survived on coffee and compliments. Isn't that so clever? And it wasn't far from the truth too. He barely ate. A little rice and coleslaw a couple of hours before showtime. What he really had to get right was the coffee after the show. Moyo, his producer, used to tease him about how he liked his coffee. She would say to me, I'll have some coffee, by which she meant black with 2 sugars if we had a good night, 3 if we sold out. Towards the end, I had several packets go past their due date completely untouched. Anyway, then she would point at Timmy and say, a cup of milk with a bit of coffee for Mr. Leke. It was funny that Mr. Leke. We called him Timmy when we spoke to him. He insisted on it. But to each other, we refer to him as Mr. Leke. Mr. Leke needs a towel. Mr. Leke needs his pills. Mr. Leke isn't waking up. Mr. Leke is at the hospital. Mr. Leke is going to the special resort upstate. I know Moyo tells it differently. Those producer types are all about maintaining image or whatever. I think it's better to tell it as it is. Remind everyone that stars are people too. I really mean that. Like Timmy, real stars are real people, and real people are messy, which is why things got messy, starting with the Oblivion sponsorship. Thank you.